Good morning, everyone. I'm very, very happy to see all old friends, and also there are some new friends I hear. And very happy to be back to Blue Mountain, especially in this period of time. I don't know whether this weather is the normal one or just suddenly heat up. I don't know, but it's perfect weather. I think last year came in the middle of winter, so it was quite cold. So and this is the best. The sound okay? Okay. Yeah. And also very happy to see two senior venerables. Both looks radiant, and similar goes to those of you. In the past year, some did complain some of their own physical health, but even those of you I see radiant, so which is very good. I'm very happy to witness that. And we also have two youngest attendants, my very close friend since few years. I think we were together in Waka Waka last year. So I think they came from quite far away for this event. So, and led by Robert, Annie, and the team, organized a very beautiful place for these few days get together for this Dharma discourse. So the place is very beautiful, very spacious. Thank you very much for organizing, especially those who behind the scene working for a long time. And also we have PMD Australia National Office personnel. Stephanie is here, who is actually taking care of all my necessary needs for all the tours for many years. And we also have our previous ex-national office person. Yeah, so basically I think it's a gathering of different ages, different individuals that involve in many different Dharma activities or the activities in social service. So it is a community, it's a Sangha community that we form by so many diversities. So which is, I think, very beautiful. Everybody coming together, at least for a few days or even for a session, to cultivate virtues, cultivate especially Dharma practices, and strengthen the friendship or establish new friendship So it's a great symbol for unity, happiness, peace. So peace and happiness, family, friendship, even in between two persons level, able to bring a huge contribution to the peace and happiness in the larger, in the world. Each and everyone's effort serve a great deal to making the world better, more peaceful, more harmonious, and especially where you come together to gather a lot of positive energy, which is very essential to bless the world that we live in, starting from within our own aggregates, and then to the environment where we are. Then you bring back that energy to your home, your family, your neighborhoods. Then the elements, like such as the air, that which freely, accessed every existence, it has the power to transmit very much the whole the elements of the entire universe, how far the distance may be. So each and everyone can play as like a holy relics of the Buddhas, which carry the power of positivities. The positivities that which has the power of element that can purify negativities to people, to the environment, and also the power, the element of the power that can consecrate beings and the environment to be more conducive to the peace and happiness of the living beings. So individual gathering virtue through our body, speech and mind, such as having Dharma discourse, recitations of prayers, mantras, then physically, retreating or physically being in such an environment where everybody carry the same intention, which is to gather the virtues and purify negativities, or even you don't have negativities, but to have more protection for future times from negative environment within and without. Then mentally, try to gain some control over our emotion, our mind, through setting beneficial motivations, and very much educating our mind through beneficial wisdoms, the guidance to beneficial attitudes, which are the message or the teaching of the Dharma. Then, not only that, dedicating whatever accumulations of those virtues gathered for most beneficial purposes, such like dedicating for the benefit of numberless sentient beings' well-being, benefiting for the well-being of many others, starting from your family, loved ones, and also taking, dedicate to take good care of yourself virtually. And all this makes every single cells of our body and every continuum of our consciousness, then every action that performed through our body, speech and mind become so beneficial and so powerful, like the relics, as I mentioned before. So from that point of view, it is so meaningful to have such a time. So just to let you know that your time will be very meaningful in that sense. You came here with so much of sacrifices. You have to, this, even for just come for a session is quite a big deal, isn't it? Quite a big sacrifices if your life is occupied with busyness of your job and family responsibilities. So that's quite sacrifices. But it is worth, especially if you need to sacrifice your such time for family, then families have become one of the very big reasons for you to be here, and you are accumulating virtues for them, merit for them, and the relics that I'm talking about, that yourself as like relics that I'm talking about, truly become precious and beneficial for your family members. Then also the resources, that you have to spend in today's world. It very much, without using money, nothing happens. And for some individual, to spend few $100, even $100 is a big thing. It's a hard-earned money. So, but then spending in this kind of meaningful events, I would say, is worth. Your hard work earned money is worth spent. I would say like that. confidently can say like that. Then also some individuals, they physically may be going through challenges, to sit long in the session and to drive, far away. Then especially if you need to listen from a person like me who don't know how to talk, who have no kind of the professional, the talking skill that you already know. By now you already witnessed what I'm doing, isn't it? I also didn't plan to talk like that. So this is our karma, collective karma, that make me to talk like that. So physically, it's also a lot of sacrifices, to give a lot of time, for the session, for the day. Then, again, from the point of view of Dharma practice, spiritual practice, especially in Buddhist teaching, it regards great purification. There's one practice called the practice of paramita, practice of six paramita or six perfection, or the practice of the bodhisattvas. So within that, there's one practice. It's about practice of patience. So when it comes to practice of patience, there are three types of practice of patience. First one is patient enduring suffering, patient enduring hardship, inconvenience, whether to physically, mentally, environmentally. When you, especially when you pursue virtues or practice of Dharma, regarded one of very powerful ways to bring about purification of the karma, that which is the main cause of the inconvenience that we physically go through, the physical sicknesses or tiredness or inconvenience. And such a purification helps to prevent future inconvenience, and also reduce or bring the impact of purification to the present the inconvenience that we physically go through by reducing the time of the experience of the inconvenience, as well as reduce the intensity of the inconvenience, the suffering. Then there's also a possibility of mentally, feeling also challenges when you come to listen, especially when you come to listen Dharma, and within that, especially if you come to listen profound Dharma, such as teaching related to renunciation, teaching related to bodhicitta, teaching related to emptiness. Then especially teaching related to Tantra, to daily yoga practices. our ordinary mind not necessarily, always feel good about it. There are many times they are also possible of feeling contradictory to our all habits, of our all patterns of way of thinking, in particularly oneself in the position of about to transit from non-practitioner to a practitioner. First time aspire to learn about Dharma. First time that you start to see limitation in our, samsaric or the worldly way of life, and looking for some different, path in our living, or different perspective that you're looking for in the life, and you very much arrive in the spiritual environment, or the Dharma kind of environment, and not always, that from the first time when you hear about Dharma, first time when you hear about renunciation or emptiness, bodhicitta, that your heart get uplifted. In many cases, you feel very difficult to accept or difficult to digest. So such challenges also happens, and even those who are already in the spiritual path, whenever there's a transition happens, like progressing. So there are many forms of practices to progress, your practice, like such as taking new precepts, new commitments, practices, new yogas. Again, the clashings of the previous energy and the new energy may occur. But all these experiences, if you are introduced, before such comes in your way, if you understand what's happening, and if you're able to not to misunderstand them, not to misinterpret those experiences, and help yourself with, by your wisdom, or get help from the community, the Sangha community, and if you're able to, cross that transition smoothly, then that individual's, spiritual progress can become very steady, very progressive, and sweep and delivering of the spiritual realizations. So yeah. So one of the reasons that I'm saying this in the beginning is whatever form of good or bad experiences that occurs when you are in a spiritual environment, every experience has meaningful benefits. Meaningful. Yeah, every experience has beneficial reasons. Yeah, so that's it. So then now I will go along with my plan. Yeah, so firstly take a moment to calm and settle both your body and mind in the present moment. And you can do that with short breathing meditation. Simply, breathe naturally, but there's also a bit of lengthy, not much forcing it, but still the breathing bit lengthy in and out, and try to breathe from the belly. You can also hold your hand at the belly, so when you breathe out, very much the belly expands. You breathe in, the belly actually shrinks. So that kind of breathing should exercise, and place your awareness of the breathing in and out. So maybe we can do about 9 rounds. So you start now, yeah. Thank you. So we will recite the Guru Shakyamuni Buddha's name mantra a few rounds together. So again, take opportunity to train concentration, the single-pointed concentration to the chanting of the mantra. And if in case any individual out there you don't know the mantra, you can just hear the mantra, place your concentration on the sound. So the Guru Shakyamuni Buddha's name mantra carries the meaning of the entire Buddha Dharma, entire stages of the training, from the very beginning to the state of enlightenment. So just a brief meaning. So Tayatha. So the mantra is Tayatha Om Muniye Muniye Maha Muniye Soha. So Tayatha referring to the dust gone beyond, referring to all the past and the present Buddhas. Then Om, there's a letter, the syllable has three letters, A, O, Ma, that carries the representations of our own present body, speech and mind. It also has the representations of the future to be achieved or resultant Buddha's body, speech and mind. Then there are three Muniye, the last one attached with the Maha Muniye. So Muniye referring to the yana or the vehicles within the Dharma practice. So the first Muniye referring to the small vehicle, very much the vehicle of the the beginner that reliance on this Dharma practice, renouncing one's own samsara, one's own inconvenience, the control of karma and delusion, and aspiring for the self-liberation. Then second Muniye referring to the middle capable beings path, or the middle vehicle, which also similar objective of self-liberation, but through the training of more advanced practices in the Dharma, with a greater form of renunciation, not just renouncing inconvenience of this life and the future life, but future life in the lower realms, but also renouncing the inconvenience of all the six realms, and pursuing the self-nirvana, liberation from the entire oceans of samsara. Then Mahamuniye is a great vehicle, the great yana. Maha referring to the great. Great here very much to do with the courage or the motivation of your spiritual practice, which is not only concerning for your own freedom from the samsara inconvenience and achieve the self-liberation, but your spiritual practice, the purpose is to renounce the inconvenience of all sentient beings, of their samsara, and actualize the perfect liberation or the complete liberation, which is the state of full enlightenment. That also dedicating for the well-being of rest of numberless sentient beings through the practice of altruistic dharma. So that is the Mahamuniye. Soha means to arrive or the actualize or achieve. So very much meaning, just like the past Buddhas, past and present, Buddhas, through the cultivations of the practice of the three yanas, they achieve this state of enlightenment, the enlightened body, speech, and mind. Me too, on the basis of this ordinary body, speech, and mind, through the cultivations of the teachings and the practice of the three yanas, will actualize the resultant body, speech, and mind of my enlightenment. So this is the meaning. Thank you. Yeah, so then those of you who already have practice of refuge, who already have taken refuge in Buddha Dhamma Sangha, take opportunity to refresh them while I recite this refuge prayer. Those of you who not yet taken refuge, and simply acknowledge that you carry Buddha nature, same nature with the Buddha, same potential as a Buddha, and have faith in that potential, that any limitations can be overcome, any possibilities, including enlightenment, to be able to achieve. And on the basis of that, generate beneficial motivation. Best if you could generate altruistic or the bodhicitta motivation, simply expressing from depth of your heart, wholeheartedly, you really mean it, that I dedicate entire my existence, especially this very life, this very year, this very month, this very week, this very day, this very session, to be most beneficial for the well-being of numberless sentient beings, from temporary happiness up to the ultimate happiness of enlightenment. May whatever I do for that purpose. Sanje Jedang Zoji Jonala Janjo Badu Dane Yazonji Daji Jeje Gebe Sonamaji Dola Benje Sanje Dobarai Sanje Jedang Zoji Jonala Janjo Badu Dane Yazonji Daji Jeje Gebe Sonamaji Dola Benje Sanje Dobarai Sanje Jedang Zoji Jonala Janjo Badu Dane Yazonji Daji Jeje Gebe Sonamaji Dola Benje Sanje Dobarai Gambia Nuzene Zone Dava Damji Bambije Dambije Duenze Godam Dela Chanse. So this is the salutation to Guru Shakyamuni Buddha. So whatever the discourse that we're going to have is based on Buddha's teaching and may, in order to receive the lineage blessings, all the way from Buddha, in order for us to effectively, bring about transformations of our mind. Then the second verse is salutation to our lineage gurus. To our mind to be nurtured in a serious way. When the teachings are shared, teachings, the Dharma teachings are discussed, that at least the teacher who carries the transmissions of the commentaries of the Dharma, or the transmission of the Dharma, the instructions of the Dharma, the initiations of the Dharma, so that Guru being the nearest, the nearest or the closest between the enlightened, the Buddhas, the deities, and in particular the ultimate Dharma, the Dharmakaya, and to us. Making salutation to the lineage gurus and driving their blessings, play a very special importance for the effective training of our mind also. Donye Nije Zondo Jobe Lama Seje Senjo Kanje Tendu Chana Bemo Tenzen Gyanzo La Sowa Debzo Da Yu Chin Ye. Okay, thank you. So, when I talk nonsense, I have this problem. When I start to talk Dharma or do some prayer chanting, then I have this blockage. So this is due to the lack of my own merit. So this is nothing to do with our collective karma. So this is my own karma. Okay, so today's subject is how Buddhism can help during difficult time. Yes, Buddhism surely can help in our difficult time. Firstly, I want to make that confirmation. So first of all, what really is Buddhism? You know, what really is the Buddhism? What Buddhism is? So Buddhism is simply tools of method and wisdom to transform the existence. In particularly, the tools to transform the creator of existence, which is the mind, the creator of our own world, which is our own mind. So Buddhism is simply the tools of wisdom and method to transform our own mind. So the tools can comes in many different design, many different which can apply accordingly with the different mental dispositions of individuals. So Buddhism carry the different skillful the ways to deliver this wisdom and method in the form of philosophy. So if individual's interest is in philosophy, so you can learn those tools or apply those tools through a philosophical way. If your interest is in science, then you can learn, you can apply Buddhism or Buddhist teachings in a scientific way. If your interest is in just simply way of life, just want to find beneficial wisdoms and methods to make your way of life more meaningful, more beneficial, more fulfilling, then Buddhism or the Buddhist teaching you can learn and you can practice, you can apply as a guidance to your way of life. Then, lastly, if you have interest in the religious aspect, if you have interest in the religious aspect, then Buddhism also have the element that you can learn and you can apply and practice in a religious manner. So the first thing is, so that's to be understood. So from this point of view, then Buddhism is for everybody. Buddhism is for all levels of intelligence, all levels of interest. Buddhism is good for in any situation, in any for any faith. if out there, if any individual practicing Christian, you can be a very good Christian Buddhist practitioner. If you are free thinker, you can be a very good free thinker, good Buddhist practitioner. So, in one way, Buddhism has no contradictory to any virtuous belief. All religious beliefs are virtuous beliefs, including of those free thinkers, those who wish to, have a meaningful life, have a beneficial life. And those ideas are virtuous. Life which is beneficial for the society, beneficial for the family, want to live a life with a lot of ethics, and heart, kind heart, loving heart to your spouse, to your children. Those are virtue. So on the basis of those virtue that interpreted by different beliefs and including free thinkers, Buddhism is just another element to enhance that, to complement that, to condition that. The reason I'm saying that it can enhance and it can condition even to those of the other religious practitioners, already those, the virtuous value that they already have, is because none of the religion emphasize the wisdom, in particular to do with the wisdom of emptiness. There's no religion emphasize about the wisdom of emptiness, or wisdom of emptiness. That's the only Shakyamuni Buddha who expounded this teaching on wisdom of emptiness. So there's one particular text that composed by one great Tibetan founding master of this Gelug lineage called Lama Tsongkhapa. So he composed the praises to Guru Shakyamuni Buddha, or in other words, praises in dependent arising, Shakyamuni Buddha, the revealing or expounding the wisdom of emptiness or wisdom of dependent arising, that make Shakyamuni Buddha as a unique teacher, not in any other form of teaching, but because of this, because of the wisdom, wisdom of emptiness. And also to do with the attitude, the method aspect of teachings. None of the religious teaching emphasize about the altruistic, the bodhicitta aspect of attitude. All religious taught even a great compassion. Compassion is all, but even they emphasize great importance of great compassion, great love, great empathy. But there's no teaching emphasizing about bodhicitta. Again, that is one of the reasons I'm saying that learning, Buddhist teaching can condition or supplement to already those amazing teachings and practices you already have, even in case if you are practicing any other faith. So that's the reason, Buddhism is very open and flexible. Whatever level you practice, no offense. No offense to the Buddha. You can be a terrible practitioner like me, Buddha never get offended. And then the more you practice, the greater you practice, there's limitless space in everybody's heart. There's a practice of rejoice. Rejoice. Even Buddha will rejoice in your good practice. But if you are not good practice, Buddha never complain. Buddha will not condemn you. And so that's also another beautiful thing about Buddhism. So for me, even just to know this very, very foundational characteristic of Buddhism or Buddhist teaching is already helping my difficult mind. Because I have a lot of confusion, a lot of doubts, a lot of insecurity to do with my life, to do with my practice, any human being, even those who bring so much distraction to the world, at the corner of their heart, they still want to be good. They still want to be lovable. They may be crucial for so many others, but still, at least, they have a sense of caring, concern, love, compassion to yourself and those members of your family, Then, for most people, they really want to be like bodhisattvas, want to be the cause of happiness of all sentient beings, want to be in the service of every needy people and animals. Always want to be happy, always want to be virtuous, heart filled with virtues. But the reality not always happen that. We have a lot of limitations. And we sometimes feel guilty, which is not nice feeling, isn't it? Feel guilty. As like me, as a monk, not always like sitting in meditation and being very busy, here and there, feel sometimes guilty. And as a Mahayanic practitioner, my heart not always filled with bodhicitta, sometimes filled with self-centeredness. And I feel guilty of being Mahayanic practitioner. Then sometimes, most of the time there's no mindfulness in your actions to be exactly according with the Dharma. Sometimes worldly concerns arises. Sometimes maybe not intendedly, but because of lacking mindfulness, accidentally you make others inconvenience. Others others get hurt verbally or even physically, etc. Possible. So then again, being as a Buddhist, not supposed to do that. If the basic precept of being Buddhist is, if you're able to help. If not, at least always refrain from causing inconvenience to others. But not always happen that, and you feel guilty about it. You see, but then when you think of the teachings of the Buddha, and when you think of the founding teachers' quality, the Buddha's quality, whose quality is boundless compassion, only compassion to others, immeasurable love to all sentient beings, immeasurable empathy to all sentient beings, immeasurable equanimity, all sentient beings, ever. And whenever you think of that, you get healed from all those inconveniences that you go through. You don't feel like you are discarded now. You are a bad practitioner now. You kind of didn't live up to Buddha's expectation. You feel stressed up. You never feel like that. When you think of Buddha, you always feel you are loved. You always feel you are completely under his care. How much mistakes you do, you are always in the first priority. For him, every being is in first priority of his care, isn't it? When you think of Buddha, it's like you're always cared. And your heart, just thinking of Buddha and his teaching, your heart always restored from all the damage, all the inconvenience that we do as a human being, and heart always filled with appreciation, dignity, confident, positivities, hopefulness. Not even need to go into a detailed learning and practice of the teaching. Just simply remembering the definition of what Buddhism is and the characteristic or the definition of what Buddha is. You get the healing. You see? So, yes. So how Buddhism can help during a difficult time? So that's the way. You see, every day, or if not every day, but occasionally maybe, every next day of your birthday, you look into your mirror. You will be shocked. What happened with the celebration you have just done yesterday, birthday celebration? Like as if you are newly born. Now you reach to the young adult teenage. The little children. They can't wait to be teenage, isn't it? But time goes by, like me, in my age, yes, birthday, create an environment that you're so happy, very much like celebration. But the next day when you look into your mirror, you have an extra gray hair, extra wrinkle. You really see, such a clarity of age. You see, but then this is just an example. So, but then if our heart is still intact with the remembrance of the Buddha's teaching, then there's no offense. there's no sadness even while you are aging. There's no sense of loss even while you are aging, loss of the youth. You still feel life is so meaningful and appreciating, that you're able to, complete one another big year, and you have even a sense of you're getting even more and more matured in your practice, or at least you feel so rejoicing and so appreciative that I have another time, to be able to fulfill the meaning of life. But otherwise, if we don't have a Dharma, to anybody, when you see you're getting old, especially after 40, 50 years later, whenever you see you're getting older, it's not so pleasant feeling, isn't it? I would say, it's most of the time you feel quite concerned. But then when you think of the Buddha's teaching, then there's no disturbances. Then, when it comes to health issues, whether to do with mentally, physically, that's another devastating events that happens in our human life journey. Whenever inconvenience that showing the sign in our body, or if the doctor says that okay, now you have to be careful about your cholesterol, or careful about your sugar, you're in a borderline, or there's some sign, you get freaked out already. You feel scared. You start to see the sign of nearing to the transition, But then, when you have a Dharma, when you have a Buddha's teaching in your heart, then you will never have to experience that. You have this heart of acceptance so positively through the understanding of the nature of the life, nature of samsaric aggregates, which Buddha taught. It lies in the nature of impermanent. Why we get shocked, why we get fear of those changes is because of we have permanent grasping. Permanent grasping. We may not say verbally, maybe even verbally we may say, oh, okay, things are changing, will change. But when really reality kicks in, our subconsciously, we cannot deal with it. We cannot accept that. And that manifests into our emotion with fear, with anxiety, concern, etc. Because subconsciously we are still holding permanent grasping about our life. When we are healthy, we have permanent grasping of ever being healthy. And ever being youthful. That's why if there's a changes of aging, then you get offended, you get disturbed. And the healthy body, there's a sign of some issues of health. You get disturbed. Then when our emotion also, when the emotions are always in the sense, joyful or peaceful or positive, again subconsciously, we have this permanent grasping onto it. And when the emotion start to change to more negative, more disturbing emotions, you don't like the feeling. You feel disturbed, and you feel how come I get angry? How come I feel sad? How come I get depressed? How come that someone that I always expect positive treatment, but now treating me badly? How come? There's so many questions because of having subconsciously there's a permanent grasping. You see, but then if we have a good imprint, sustainable imprint or training in Buddha's teaching, and then there, our minds are trained to have the wisdom that the all compounded phenomena, lies in the nature of impermanent. That's the teachings of the Buddha. We were taught all compounded phenomena. Then no question about our mind, our body. The nature lies in the changeable. Impermanent means momentarily changing. So changing is the natural thing, and if don't change, stay permanent, that is unnatural. You see, in fact, we should be more concerned about being permanent rather than being concerned of those changes comes in our way. You see, so but that require not just understanding, but require contemplation. You see, not just reading the book, but that what you read, you have to contemplate. And the contemplate will bring into a really sensible knowledge in us. Not just knowing the word, not just recorded the word in our brain, but now the heart also start to understand the meaning of that sentence, that teaching. So the contemplation happens, through the process of applications of logics, reasonings, and life examples. With that, our heart will be, trained quite intensively, and that wisdom we gain through contemplation. It is easier to arise or be active whenever it's required. Wisdom of just the knowledge from listening and learning without contemplation, it is far more difficult to arise and bring in action whenever it's required, whenever it needs. So the contemplation is required. After we learn something, especially about the Dharma, even about the wisdom of impermanent, we need to do a repeated contemplation. In other words, analytical meditation. That contemplative practice we can also put in the category of analytical meditation. So meditation is not just like sitting quiet or absorption meditation. As long as you train your heart repeatedly, or making your heart habitual in a chosen object that which you want to advance, it is knowledge, it is understanding. That's called meditation. So now, if entire our system want to be completely occupied with the Dharma or with the wisdom and the attitude of the Dharma, like a wisdom of impermanent, wisdom of emptiness, attitude of love, attitude of compassion, attitude of altruism, then we need to do absorption meditation. So just learning the theory is not good enough. Even just doing analytical meditation is not good enough, or the contemplation is not good enough. You need to do absorption meditation, single-pointed concentration meditation. the benefit of training into single-pointed or absorption concentration meditation will bring about the result of spontaneously arising in our system. Spontaneous. You see, the earlier training, it require a reminder. It require other factors to arise in our system, and sometimes the negative factors are, far more efficient, intruding into our system than the Dharma or the positive, the method and wisdom. You see, so we need to come to a point that, without depending on reminder or the external condition, that always stay alive, in our system, whether it's consciously or subconsciously, always there. And if it is alive subconsciously, then whenever require consciously to protect our three doors from the disturbances, from the emotions or external factors, that also has to be arise spontaneously, but not by others' factor. So in order to reach to that point, then you need to do absorption or single-pointed, meditation on that Dharma knowledge. The benefit of the single-point, benefit of training in single-pointed concentration, the outcome is your mind becomes serviceable. Serviceable to the way how you want your mind to behave. That kind of result to our mind won't able to deliver by the earlier two trainings. It has to be engaged, the third level of training or absorption meditation. Now to do that, first you need to learn the correct information, through readings or listening. Then that correct information become an object of your meditation, analytical meditation. Analytical, the second level of meditation. And the conclusion of your analytical meditation is the wisdom, or is the object that to use by the single-pointed meditation or absorption meditation. So you cannot simply any object can be used to do the absorption meditation or single-pointed meditation. There's a gradual lineage to arrive there. You see, so then that way, the definite benefit of the meditation will deliver. In other words, when you gain the result of quality result of absorption or single-pointed meditation, you very much obtain the path in that practice. Now you actualize the path. Just learning, you won't ever actualize the path. Just contemplation, you won't able to actualize the path of that Dharma, that practice. Through absorption or single-pointed meditation, when you gain the wisdom of single-pointed meditation or absorption meditation, then you gain the path in renunciation, path in the teachings of precision rebirth, path in the teachings of emptiness, path in the teachings of love, path in the teachings of compassion, bodhicitta, etc. So it becomes path. So the quality of becoming any Dharma teaching in the path, the characteristic is it becomes spontaneously arising, spontaneously being within our system. Spontaneous, always there. And that time, now your system is for all the time occupied by the Dharma. Then you get complete freedom from negativities. If we have the past influence of the negativities of permanent grasping, now once you gain the path in the wisdom of impermanent, and now from now on you are liberated from the bondage of any suffering that comes in our way by the reason of permanent grasping. In another word, if you gain the wisdom of impermanent, through meditation, from now on we will never bother by changes in life. Young to old age, never will bother. Healthy to sickness, never will bother. Life to death, even that experience also will not bother our emotion, because of the intact wisdom of impermanent that already become a part in your system. Now there are, very much all the miseries is very much comes into our way mainly due to the self-grasping ignorant about self, about the person's identity. Because of self-grasping ignorant, then because of self-grasping ignorant to person, or because of self-grasping ignorant to I, me, then all the rest of the delusional grasping in relation to other phenomena will comes in our way as a mind. This and this is my liking, mine belonging. This and this is my enemy. It's about to be aversion. This and this is nothing to do with me. Sense of ignorant. This due to this self-grasping, ignorant about self-identity, our heart will be filled with this impartial attitude of attachment grasping to the liking, aversion to the disliking, and complete, non-relation to the rest of the phenomena, rest of the existence. And this is a very disturbing emotion. It's very much like a hurricane or tsunami, earthquake in our system. And very much, we feel like sometimes life is like an earthquake all the time, emotion, like roller coaster, so easy to be unhappy, and so easy to get excited. There's no sense of sustainable, calm, still kind of like a happiness or peace, isn't it? So we will talk more about that. Any questions?
Maybe you can stand when you
stand, yes.
Okay.
so we can.
You mentioned approaching Buddhism from a scientific point of view.
Yes.
So in a nutshell, I know this could be quite a long answer. How does one do that?
Mm-hmm.
How would that happen?
Yeah. So it's mainly talking about the relative truth about our mind, which is the knowledge of cause and effect, karmic law, cause and effect. Of course, we can get a lot of examples from the material science. The modern scientists also talk about relativity. relativity. Then similar logic that applies in understanding of the relative truth and ultimate truth. The relative truth, the true truth are the main knowledge of Buddhist teaching. We call true truth to be learned, true path to be applied, and true result to be achieved. So this is the whole thing about Buddhism. So the understanding of the relative truth is exactly the same way of understanding of relativity. In order to bring about something, you need it is right elements or right causes, right conditions. So it's very much about cause and effect, and also to understand about ultimate truth, which is emptiness, and that is also the modern science of quantum physics. So the same way of understanding of quantum physics apply into the understanding of emptiness. Yeah, thank you. Okay. Oh yes. Oh yes.
What would happen if there was no science?
What?
What would happen if there was no science?
What would happen if there's no science?
Science. You were talking about science before Geshela, Buddhist science.
Buddhist science. If there's no science, then what would happen? Oh, then there's no existent. So everything is science actually. I think for the materialistic world, I think would understand that general people understanding of the materialistic world is made out of science. It's the science is the one that will bring all the creations, like especially to do the modern facilities, Of course, there's also a large group of people who believe that it is, created by external power, such as created by God. But for Buddhism, we will still use it is a creations of science. That is simply meaning creations of our karma. So the karma is the science. Because karma simply meaning the actions of our body, speech, and mind that gather all the necessary formula to make up something, to bring about something. Our physical existence, our human physical existence is definitely is made out of science. But what do you mean in relation to Buddhist teaching for that particular term is made out of our karma. And you need, correct science to bring about correct discovery, correct production. So that's why we say, with the right cause, right result. Right result is only produced by right cause. So there's no other's cause will produce other result or another kind of result. So they need to have harmonies between cause and effect. So otherwise, in Buddhist philosophy, it's talk about then anything will produce anything. So and that against the wisdom of the emptiness way of existence, the ultimate truth. and that also against the relative way of existence. So it's all about science. Thank you for the question. Very profound question.
I was just going to ask Geshela, from my understanding of what Geshela said about how to use Buddhism to deal with things in life, and so what I understood or what I heard was you first need to listen to the teachings of Buddhism. They have to, for example, the teaching on impermanence helps you deal with things like aging and death and that. So hearing the teaching, you gain an intellectual understanding, and then by contemplating it, you gain a deeper knowledge. But it doesn't actually have a profound effect unless you're able to meditate on it and really integrate it through meditation. So the question is, lots of us don't put that into practice because we have excuses why we can't meditate for that long or something, so it doesn't get into us to that extent, so it remains kind of intellectual. So I was wondering just what can we do further to, if we're unable to get it to that level, and it will, to have a beneficial effect in dealing with the things in life.
So here when we talk about the amount of practice, it's not necessarily amount of time. It is very much amount of consistency. Maybe in busy individual person's life may have only 5 minutes to do a really quality observation meditation a day. As long as you do that daily, consistent in daily, that will bring the result. It's not about suddenly go into a few days of retreat, full time you meditate. After that you just completely give up, completely goes into the other side of the way of living. That doesn't benefit much. So it's the consistency. So Lama Atisha mentioned in his we call the advice. The advice, what's it? Labja Thotpu, the collections of advice from everywhere. So there's a Kadamba's master's advice that collected and put into one small text. So Atisha said, it doesn't matter, how great level of practice you do, whether sutra or tantra or whatever amount of practice you are capable, but do that consistently. And that consistent is also talking about the time. It's just 5 minutes, but every day at least keep that 5 minute time. So in another way, as long as you know how to apply as long as we understood the teaching as an instruction to our day-to-day the life activities, then we can integrate any form of Dharma knowledge into practice in whole time, in whole activities of our day-to-day life. Let's say, the teaching on the attitude, like such as bodhicitta or great compassion. So, whatever we do, the initial motivation, you check just maybe it may not even take one minute, maybe less than a minute to generate bodhicitta motivation. Simply, like what we did in the morning, that whatever that work that I'm going to engage next may be the cause of numberless sentient beings, temporary happiness up to the ultimate happiness of enlightenment. And I will try my very best to be mindful during the action according with what I motivate now. So even you forget about to remembering of the great compassion of bodhicitta during your gardening, but the motivation actually already infused the rest of the actions, throughout your gardening, and throughout gardening actually subconsciously or subtly is you are in the practice. You are consecrating, your entirety of your being. But then on top of that, if you're able to remember, even be mindful while doing the gardening of, being mindful of bodhicitta that expresses through all your senses, including through your eye, with the bodhicitta eye, watching there's any worm that you may just put your tools onto it, or you always concern the well-being of sentient being while you're doing gardening. If you see some worms come and you put into a safer place, etc., or you remember to recite some mantra like Om Mani Padme Hum, Medicine Buddha mantra to bless the worm, that would be even better. If not, the motivation is so powerful. Then at the end, if you remember to dedicate, well done. If not, still wonderful. So if we don't remember to motivate positive motivation like bodhicitta before every action, but at least remember to do that when you wake up in the morning, even before, because even going to toilet is action. Going to have breakfast is also action. So the moment you wake up from the sleep in the bed, first thing, without doing anything, first thing, generate bodhicitta motivation. So then that will make entire your day, whatever you do, even going to toilet also become a cause of numberless sentient beings a benefit. It's like Lama Tsongkhapa said, "Tamje semba dala raleso." He said everything dependent on the motivation, and even whether any form of action or practice will become what kind of dharma practice dependent on your motivation, like such as the three yana, whether same practice of refuge, whether it become practice of Mahayana, Tantra yana, or middle capable beings path, small capable beings path, is very much dependent on the motivation that you deliver. So for the method side, an example is like that. For the wisdom side, you divide very much entirety of your 24 hours into two sections. One is absorption meditation section, another one is post-meditation section. And let's say within 24 hours, you have only 5 minutes for absorption meditation session. So it means the rest of the other time is your post-meditation section. So during the post-meditation section, you view everything that comes in your way, comes to your senses, six senses, or 5 senses, or any experience, good or bad, negative or positive, worldly or dharma. See as a illusion-like, dream-like, illusion-like. You're not seeing them as illusion, but you're seeing them as an illusion-like. And what it meaning is, you very much interacting or engaging with all the phenomena, all the object all the experience that comes into your 5 senses, in the way you understood it is ultimate nature. So you are not engaging with the ignorant way. You're not engaging under the influence of ignorant. And that itself is a great protection from negativities, because ignorance itself is one of the heaviest accumulations of negativities. So so you very much relate every experiences with wisdom. And the way to do that is see every experience as an illusion of I. Now you see something when I'm seeing, obviously seeing all of you, you see illusion alike. I'm seeing illusion alike people. You got a phone call. You say, I hear illusion alike phone call. I receive illusion alike phone call. You suddenly feel something. You feel illusion alike feeling. And that is a great wisdom of emptiness that you are, applying in all your experiences. The immediate benefit out of it, you will not create any form of karma, any form of karma that will become a cause of samsara. Otherwise, every relationship we are accumulating negative consequences. Which is quite shocking to know, but the reality is that, what Buddhism understood is the moment your eye consciousness engaging with its object, form object, you're already committing negative karma, or you're already committing a karma, not necessarily negative karma. You're already committing a karma which will result samsara. And in many cases, whenever we see, we actually commit negative karma, not just a karma, but negative karma. When you see, if you generate, after you see, you generate attachment. You kind of conditioned to generate attachment because you like the object. And in that relationship, you commit negative karma, which is even worse. The consequences of that, could be in the lower realm, or could be even be born as a human being. We're born with so much desire. We will have so much negative consequences in relation to desirous objects, such as relationship problems, such as not obtaining what you wish to obtain, not getting what you like, and whatever liking thing you have is quickly disappear, quickly breaks, quickly go away. All those are karma commit like that way. Those of the other virtuous karma, but still cause of samsara, because the moment you see the object, you see true existence. You relate to the object in the way of true existence, even though you don't say it, you don't understand it, but what you see as independent existence from its own side. I see that pole is that pole. I have no idea, or I'm not seeing as a interdependent existence. I see that pole exists out there from its own side, and now I'm relating to that pole. Oh, that pole is okay. It's a wooden pole, okay, but I'm seeing inherent wooden pole, true existing wooden pole. And all these are ignorant. But I'm not hurting anybody. I'm admiring the pole. It must be Tasmanian wood, or must be Blue Mountain wood. It's so beautiful. But is it that idea and that positive thinking is a virtue, but it's still a cause of samsara, because of the natural relation you establish as a true existence. The true existence subject, the I consciousness, and true existence object, that pole, you see. And the result could be you're born as a human being filled with the Tasmanian wood pole. And you have so much attachment you develop. and someone someone accidentally break your pole, you will be so upset. Because that only happens in samsara. It doesn't happen in Pure Land or liberation, you see. But having those poles in your life, many woods, similar kind of wood in your life, is a result of the virtue that you established relation in the past. But still in the samsaric environment, because you have not purified the ignorant when you establish a relationship. So antidote is you see everything you see as a illusion alike. So that cut the influence of the ignorant. You see. So now whatever you hear as an illusion alike. Whatever you feel, when you feel something's not right, you immediately remember to see that feeling as a illusion alike. Immediately, it cut down the negative experiences that you're going through. You see. Then, if you want to help yourself even more extensive way, then after that you get into a 5-minute of absorption meditation in emptiness. And the absorption meditation emptiness is seeing that uneasy feeling as in a space like empty. We call this space like mind empty meditation, which is the object of absorption meditation. You see, generally, if you don't relate to specific, the application of meditation on specific experiences, then generally, during the absorption meditation, you try to conclude all the the conceptual ideas, the words, the explanation, the philosophy, the culture, and you come to all the way, even the mind, which is the origin of all the existence, also see is lack of its inherent nature, completely empty of substantially existent, and see void of all graspings, and luminous and spacious, and observe or place your concentration on that, completely in the sense of empty, no conceptual, activities at all. Just stay quiet for 1 minute. It's absorption meditation and emptiness. Why you call space like empty meditation? Our mind is, very much similar, like the sky, like the space. The nature of the space is vast, luminous. All the other characteristic, such as stormy, cloudy, whatever, all those are circumstantial. Those are temporary. It's not the true nature of the space. Similarly, all these negative emotions to our innate mind is just temporary, not innate nature. The innate nature of our mind is as pure as Buddha. It's luminous. It's peaceful. You see. So the innate nature of our being, which very much defined in our conscious continuum, and that conscious continuum of our being is pure as Buddha. And not just ultimate level, but even conventional level, even relative level. You see. So we carry both the Buddha nature in relation to the conventional Buddha nature and ultimate Buddha nature. So because of that, even our emotions, it's just temporary. All these negative emotions are temporary. Our innate emotion, or innate, the sensual mind, is no different than the perfected altruism, perfected altruistic mind, which is Buddha's mind. You see, ignorance is not innate nature of our mind. Anger, attachment, all the rest of the other delusions. There are 84,000 delusions out there. Delusions that you summarize into 26 secondary delusion. That 26 secondary, 20 secondary, not 26, 20 secondary delusion. That 20 secondary delusion, if you summarize into 6 root delusion, that six root delusion summarized into 3 root delusion. That 3 root delusion summarized into 2. That 2 self-grasping, ignorant, self-cherishing attitude. These 2 summarized into 1, self-grasping, ignorant. And even the beginningless lifetime, we were very much governant or function, completeness of the leads of the ignorant, as if like the ignorant is the whole of ourselves. But in truth, not just in the ultimate truth, but even in relative truth, that ignorance is not our innate nature. That's not our true nature. That is just temporarily, abiding into our system only. So if you apply a correct antidote, it can be rid of quite easily if we wish to. But most of the time we say we wish to get rid of ignorance, but we are not ready. We are quite happy with ignorance, So our innate, relative, or the conventional, the nature is bodhicitta nature. Compassionate nature, loving nature, peaceful nature. You see, that goes to entire living species. Even to the cockroach, or ants, or reptiles. Everything. No question about a human being. You see. So that acknowledgement is in fact the foundation to really to apprehend all the teachings of the Buddha Dharma. If we don't acknowledge that, then we won't able to develop the two stages of the path. Let's say if we are unable to accept our conventional truth about our being, we won't able to develop bodhicitta quality in us. If we are unable to develop bodhicitta quality in us, we cannot become omniscient. We cannot achieve Buddha's form body, like such a Nirmanakaya, Sambhuvakaya form body, which can be in the service of sentient being. Now similar goes to understanding our ultimate nature. Our ultimate nature is no different than the Dharmakaya of the Buddha. Our true ultimate nature is clear light, which is the Dharmakaya. Again, it is not fully awakened, not by in its nature, but not fully awakened because of temporary, the cloud is like obscuring, and we are very much stuck, or very much, very much, how to say, very much roam around, that very superficial, being, both in ultimate and relative. Because of that, we are not fully awakened in the Dharmakaya. Even though the fully awakened Dharmakaya, the potential, or it is the wholeness is already pre-existent as our true nature in our system. You see, so when we don't accept or understand, have conviction in this true truth, as for ultimate truth, then we won't able to develop the wisdom of emptiness. If we are not able to develop wisdom of emptiness, then we won't achieve the resultant, the Buddha's wisdom body, which is the fully awakened, the Buddha's wisdom body. So, Yeah. So therefore, happiness or suffering, good or bad, nirvana and samsara, is very much perspective of our own consciousness. At this very stage, as a samsaric stage, why we are not liberated, why we still go through, why we still not experiencing genuine happiness, because we misunderstood the actual characteristic of happiness. We very much believe the sensual pleasures are the happiness. So here we need to distinguish, differentiate between this pleasure and happiness. So to the pleasure we label as a happiness, but the pleasure is very much objective, very much substantial, very much dependent on the external phenomena, external objects. Very much the pleasure comes through the senses, and the senses are function in relation to its object, which is called the sensual object. And by believing the pleasures are the happiness, we very much arrive to a point that happiness are very much come from outside. Because the object of the senses are all outside, and we very much whole life look for happiness from outside. We look from happiness of status, by gaining certain characteristic in outwardly. So we have a status in the society, then we feel so good. We try to get happiness in relation to these sensual pleasurable objects. Like such as beautiful to the eye senses, such as smooth for the feeling senses, such as nice hearing melodies to the ear senses, then eating delicious food, for the tongue senses, etc. You see. So whenever we feel unhappy, we start to nowadays in internet we start to search for your delicious food. The restaurant, because I'm feeling upset. I better look for the food so that I will be happy. And when you get your favorite food in a favorite restaurant, you feel happy, it's good. But the problem here is we regard that as a happiness. That's the problem. That is only sensual pleasure, is not happiness. You see. So then, when the restaurant is when the restaurant is not timely found, you feel upset. And when you go to your favorite restaurant, but you unfortunately today got the wrong chef, you're going to be very upset. You see, you will be even more upset. More sufferings. Etc. You see. So then, when we feel sad, you want to make ourselves, uplifted. We listen to music. Again, we depend externally. You see, and one of the quite a destructive forces in the human world. create a lot of negativities through pursuing, sexual pleasure. There's a lot of abuse happens through, for you call your happiness, but actually just sensual pleasure. Sensual pleasure, then a lot of wrongdoings happens. And through such wrong action, a lot of huge suffering consequences people experience. You see. So therefore, So up to now, I think very much, most of us, we pursue happiness, very much from outside, and even the society very much designed like that. Even from the very little children you send to school, objective is not for happiness. Objective is so that you can have a space in the society. You have a place in the society, finding a job, so that you can earn money, so that you can have home, so that you can have a partner, so that you can have a family. Then that called happiness, happy life. Total misunderstood. That called happy life, isn't it? So if you don't go to school, you're not going to be happy, because how to get home, how to buy home, how to buy, where to get food, then you'll be miserable. You see. So happiness very much like defined if these material, external kind of achievements. Therefore, even the education system is very much become like that. Therefore, there's so many, children in the school. They have such a hard life. They're quite many some small little they get depressed. So then after that, must look for job, isn't it? Have to look for job, but we thought the job will bring a lot of happiness, but actually job is the place you bring a lot of stress. Then he said, fine, I can invest my another 20 years, 30 years to do the job, how hard it is, because the money will bring happiness, the salary will bring happiness. But then found out that the salary, the money actually bring more stress. Now you have so much money, because then that makes you so much external choices. Now making choice is so stressful. You see, so now you compare. When you have nothing, you have no choice. That only one piece of bread is you're okay. But now you have many different kind of breads to choose because you have so much money. You can choose anything. But now, so stressful. Which one to choose? So then, like that. So the status, the moment you achieve certain status, it never satisfied, So in fact, all the pursuit of sensual objects, essentially achievements, instead of reducing desire, instead of being more contented, it increased desire. It become more discontented, more grasping. So that's why life become more and more stressful. The more we have, the more stressful we become. The more option we have, the more stressful we become. You see. So now, these are just few examples. Now, the real happiness is the real happiness comes from our mind, our wisdom, and the attitude of the mind. So if you have the correct attitude of the mind and correct wisdom of the mind, even in the suffering you find happiness. Even in the obstacle you find happiness. Even in the limitation you find happiness. You see? So even in the you experience the approach of death, you become so excited. You become like the children in the Christmas Eve waiting for a lot of gift. Like many practitioners, when the natural death is occurred to them, they're very much like looking forward to their next rebirth. They're so confident, they're so fulfilled. There's no anxiety, there's no suffering at all. You see, but there are also many people, even though they're physically so healthy, they are rich, they have complete family, but they live whole time in the fear of losing this life, losing the wealth, losing everything, But there are someone who have nothing, but even the death is coming in their way, their heart filled with the confidence, filled with, they're still living fully, and heart filled with joy, So you see, so there are so many methods. If your heart filled with the attitude of like bodhicitta in the practice of taking and giving, called Tonglen practice, whenever misfortune comes on your way, immediately you are in the position to accumulate the greatest amount of merit, greatest amount of purification. In the moment of the most meaningful time in your spiritual practice, spiritual development, and by understanding that and doing Tonglen practice, instead of you depressed, you feel so fortunate. My late master, after he had a whole stomach takeout operation, then after he woke up from all this, the equipments, the operation, etc., then he says that I'm so thankful. I've been whole life trying to train my mind in the practice of taking and giving. I expressed to take all other suffering onto myself and give all my happiness to others. How serious practice you do, it very much is still more like a word. There's not kind of like a completeness of like expression from entirety of your system. From every corner of the bones and bloods and whatever. He said now you really feel that unbelievable pain, and when you express these expressions of bodhicitta and Tonglen, you really mean it, and you really reach to a high level of practice, and this is a blessing. You feel so thankful, you feel so happy, etc. like that. You see. So whenever great goodness falls into you, you again do the Tonglen that now I have all the fortunes, all the blessings, all the goodness. Then you share that with the rest of the numberless sentient being, not boost the ego. Rather your heart becomes even more open. So like that. So happiness is about your mind. Okay, I better stop because I already took 10-15 minutes of your time. So this afternoon, I thought to go through one text to very much cover this topic. It's very much the teaching how to overcome, present and the future inconvenience in our life, adversity in our life. It's composed by Lama Atisha, who is, the true living practitioner in overcoming all the inconvenience in life. And if we take those of the wisdoms and the methods, I think we can too able to achieve those benefits. So we will do that. Thank you.